What is so bad about this deleted scene from Captain Marvel? I'm curious, so let's find out. Now, I haven't seen the latest Marvel movies, like any of them, so I'm very impartial here. All I know of Miss Marvel is what I watched from the X-Men TV show back in the day, where this happens.
What are you doing?
So I'm going to assume this hasn't happened yet and probably won't because this is a movie and it's being a retelling of the story. And I'm going to assume she doesn't have super strength and can't fly yet because this scene would not make any sense. So let's see what happens.
Nice scuba suit.
That's a pretty basic and fair assessment of a simple observation. She's dressed rather oddly in this environment. And this is a pretty offhanded compliment. I see nothing really wrong here. Obviously, this is a man trying to attract a woman, and compliments are simply a good start.
You need a ride, darling?
Okay, so a man arrives, gets off his motorcycle, notices a lost woman, and asks her if she needs a ride. This is logical if she's holding a map. This is not a form of catcalling, nor is it particularly insulting to her. So he obviously has some southern manners, and calling her darling can be seen as either a form of endearment or condescension, depending on a context. But in this regard, it's obviously endearment. Now, this probably isn't the best way to get someone's attention by touching what they're holding, but it is good to get eye contact. But this is certainly not assault. Now, the best would have been to come around the map and ask her where she needed to go. This is more direct, but again, nothing bad with this scenario.
How about a smile for me, huh?
A smile?
Yeah. I'm offering to help you. Least you could do is give me a smile.
I see nothing wrong with this. He's maybe thinking she's sad or lonely or at least lost, so smiling might start to alleviate her problems. You'd be surprised just how simple basic human interaction is when you start talking to someone who's being nice. This is someone trying to be nice, who's offering to help with her predicament, whatever it is.
How about a handshake? I'm Veers.
People call me the Don.
See, this is nice. Everything's friendly. She could ask where X location is. He could offer to take her for a ride there. She could agree or disagree. They could depart amicably and all be friendly in the process.
Wow.
Okay, so Miss Marvel is apparently has super strength or some degree of it, and this electricity effect is causing some great pain. She's now committing the criminal act of assault.
Here's a proposition for you. You're gonna give me your jacket, your helmet, and your motorcycle, and in return, I'm gonna let you keep your hand.
Okay, at this point, Miss Marvel is conducting another violence or violent robbery, or what's called aggravated robbery, if we can argue her electrical powers are a form of weapon, and she's actively threatening and hurting someone if they do not comply with her wishes, which is to give her stuff. This is reminiscent of the famous Terminator 2 scene where the T-800 walks into a bar naked and demands a biker's stuff. Now, the Terminator is a killing machine from the future. We understand why it's behaving that way. In this regard, we can see Veers as an anti-hero who does things in a villainous way or maybe for the purpose of serving a greater cause or ideal or any reason, apparently. Some villains are bad just because, or some anti-heroes just have negative qualities. For example, Batman breaks the law to serve a greater law or a greater sense of justice or for his own personal morals. The difference is Batman's views are justified since we understand his reasons for doing so, and hopefully the story shows us that the people he's fighting are criminals or whom are about to do something bad. In Miss Marvel or Veers' case, she is unjustified in her actions. She is breaking the law and hurting an average person, and we're not sure why. Now, maybe she's on a mission. Okay, but the clip doesn't really show that. So is this part of her character? Is she some rebellious fellow? Is she in a rush? Doesn't look like she's in a rush. She looks rather confused. Or is she just a horrible person? It's hard to say. Again, I'm just going off the clip here.
What, no smile?
Okay, now she's just being condescending. She's actively attacking this person socially because of what he said previously. Anyone who said that the gentleman was being disgusting or hateful or anything like that, there's simply no evidence of it. If anything, this is a form of toxic femininity, granting this character some sense of immoral superiority by hurting someone who wanted to help her who just happened to be a guy. And the way I know that is simple. In any sexist scenario or supposed sexist scenario, just flip the sexes. Imagine what Dawn here was called Donna and had the same tone and did and said exactly the same stuff. How do you think Veers would react? She then steals an article of clothing, so her third criminal act is robbery. And now her fourth criminal act is reckless driving. Again, if this is her character and she's an actual anti-hero, then everything's great. This is to be expected. But then you have to ask, why was this removed from the movie? This would be relevant characterization. But if she's not the anti-hero, then this simply shows us that Veers is a bad person who doesn't care for the law or for basic human interaction. She sees herself as superior to these people. So I can see all the feminist style people, the SJWs and other such left-leaning nutbars, taking the power fantasy angle, all the while decrying men as being disgusting creatures. While the rest of us, with no bias or horse in this race, see this as nothing more than a horrible person who's criminally minded.